beverage? Oh, cocoa or something? If you put I don't know where he's going with that. Sorry, guys. All right, there is much more news straight ahead.
10 TV News at 6 starts now.
Drinks are on me, I guess, tonight.
I'm like, what's he talking about, Willis?
Clear the air there. No, we are still looking at some light snow across parts of central Ohio this evening, but pretty much all done with the snow, sleet, and freezing rain across the state. And again, we are going to be talking about some frigid conditions tonight with sub-zero wind chills into the weekend. I'll have your full forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Plus, accountability. We get answers to who's responsible when roads aren't plowed and clear for you to travel.
And we dig into the meaning behind the snow emergencies, what qualifies as a level 3, and who makes that decision.
Thanks for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Andrew Kinsey.
And I'm Yolanda Harris. The snow has moved on, but the cold temperatures are settling in.
All right, let's get right over to Doppler 10 meteorologist Ross Caruso for details. The concern right now, Ross, those temperatures will drop and get low.
Yeah, we don't have any, active wind chill advisories or anything like that. Although yesterday the winds were probably strong enough to make it feel if temperatures were into the teens and anywhere from 10 to 20 below in some spots. Fortunately, the winds have calmed down. We no longer have any winter storm warnings or ice storm warnings or even winter weather advisories. So we're kind of clear in regards to that. Still some flood warnings down to the south, though, where you are hanging on to quite the amount of rain down there. But again, the shift now is going to be more so the cold. But I am showing radar right now because we are looking at some light snow that is tapering off to the south and east. Might see a quick little burst of some brief snow here in Columbus within the next half hour or so. Otherwise, things looking pretty quiet for us as we head into the early part of the night. But we are going to be watching those temperatures fall. And even though, we've kind of just been digging out through the course of the day with the amount of ice, snow, and just all that compacted together through the overnight, well, for any melting that did happen today, there's going to be more refreezing as we head into the overnight, as temperatures likely not going to be above the freezing mark until we head into the afternoon on Sunday, and not a whole lot of sunshine in the forecast either. So expect this snow and sleet and freezing rain and all of it to stick around well into next week. We'll talk more about what will be in store possibly later on into the week, where we might see some new fresh snow across the area. But in the meantime, we want to get a traffic update with Gabriela Garcia on how the roads have been looking like this evening. Gabby.
Good evening. A lot better than 24 hours ago, Ross, but still dealing with a few incidents here. The right lane is still blocked. This is near Mount Sterling, I-71 southbound past State Route 56, starting to really back things up there on 71 southbound, leading to that crash. Also, taking a look at these ODOT cameras, I-670 eastbound. This is west of Stelzer Road near the outer belt. You still see the right shoulder is blocked. And I said this earlier, I actually saw those crews putting up those cones, which means they are out there trying to clear this out. So please keep an eye out for them if you're headed that way. And also keep an eye out for crews on I-670 westbound at I-71. I think the camera just flipped on me as I was talking, or just before me talking. So just watch out for that if you're headed closer to downtown. And I just saw a snowplow drive through I-71 at Polaris Parkway. That's in Delaware County, which has been downgraded to a level 1 snow emergency, I believe. I'll double check with the sheriff's office on that. 315 at North Broadway. I wanted to show you guys the curve. I feel like ODOT knows when I want to show you guys something and they flip the camera. But just watch out for that hospital curve, and any of those curves. Going fast there is not the best idea. Just slow down. Slow and steady wins this race, you guys.
Oh, we got gremlins over there. Gremlins. All right, thanks, Gabby. The ice and the snow is making getting out of the driveway an adventure for some people. So when will the city get to your neighborhood?
The city of Columbus says it will have 50 plows working around the clock to get to those neighborhoods as quick as possible. But the city says it must treat priority roads first.
Now, the order of importance goes like this. The arterial areas, then we're talking about the roadways like Sullivan Avenue, collector residential roadways, things like that.
Those will be followed by local residential roadways. 10 TV's Kevin Landers live in East Columbus to explain why some residential roads get priority over others. Kevin.
Hey, good evening. We're on Medina Road, and I'm sure this road looks a lot like the roads where you are right now. Now, the city of Columbus tells us that these residential roads could be plowed within the next 24 to 48 hours, but they tell us that all depends on the weather. Now, which means that if we see more ice or colder temperatures, that will likely pull plows from residential roads as they prioritize the larger streets in the city. Here's how the city explained why some residential streets may get plowed sooner than others.
If you're around a school or critical infrastructure, those type of things are prioritized. Obviously, we want to make sure that folks can get to those hospitals and go to those routes. And if it's a thoroughfare type place where you're going from one major route to another.
Just lost them.
Come over this way. There's a car coming.
Now, the city is urging people to park in their driveways. Want to get out of the street here so we don't get hit. We're going to park in their driveways, and the reason is because as plows move through, they're not going to have the room to plow these streets. So they want to make sure that you park in the driveway if you can. And of course, you also want to make sure that you're not parking anywhere in the streets so that they don't have the room to do that as well. We'll have more on the story, and you can go on our website on 10tv.com. Reporting live in Northeast Columbus, Kevin Landers, 10TV News.
Kevin, thank you. ODOT says they currently have 200 drivers out plowing roads. They say those drivers will work until midnight when they'll switch off with ODOT's other 200 drivers. ODOT says right now they're working in the sunlight hours to melt the snow, but soon the temperatures will drop. ODOT saying the crews are going to have to shift gears.
We'll move into something called beet heat. Beet heat is just a beet juice mixture, and we combine it with the salt when we see those temperatures get really low below freezing. It helps the salt work a little better, work a little faster, when it otherwise wouldn't be working quite as well.
As we've previously reported, ODOT is down by about half of its usual driving staff. They say during the storm, drivers were having to do 2 to 3 routes instead of their usual 1. Here's a look at the most recent snow emergency map. Athens, Coshocton, and Fairfield still remain at level 2s, while Perry, Morgan, and Highland still are at level 3 tonight. Monroe, Delaware, Union, and Marion counties are now at a level 1.
Well, the topic came up on social media. Why, with so many other counties declaring a level 3 snow emergency, did Franklin County remain at a level 2? Well, Sheriff Dallas Baldwin says he consulted with his snow and ice committee, and they were all unanimous that Franklin County could stay at a level 2. He said declaring a level 3 wasn't necessary because plows were able to do their jobs to treat the roads and the interstates. While the roads were still snow covered and hazardous, he said it wasn't at the level to threaten with an arrest if they were out driving.
You talk about Franklin County in a level 3. We have so many interstates, so many state routes, so much going through this county that if you start threatening to arrest somebody for being on the roads, that becomes almost an impossible task.
A level 3 snow emergency remains a rare thing. We checked our archives and couldn't find a mention of one since 2004.
Speaking of level 3, our Richard Solomon has been chasing that number for the past 24 hours. Right now, he is live in Pickaway County, who were at a level 3 for most of the storm. Richard.
Yeah, Yolanda, Andrew, good evening. Now it's at a level 2, but down here in Circleville, it's getting much colder. A few indicators, obviously one, my nose. By now, it's starting to look as red as Rudolph's, but I want you to take a look at this street right here. This is West Main Street. It's plowed pretty well, but you can see how glossy it is. That's because it's still wet, and as we get deeper into the night, that's going to freeze over. But I want to show you just how fast this stuff is freezing down here. This is just a sitting body of water right here, and you can see it's starting to turn into slush. Just within the last few minutes or so, it got harder to switch through pretty much. And this is something that Sheriff Matthew Hafey says will be a problem again as we get deeper into the night. Now, he says they've been working to clear off fallen trees off the roadways all day. That's what they're doing right now. I actually saw a fleet of plows come by a few moments ago, so they are actively treating the streets. He says he expects it to get much colder tonight. The sheriff said just because Pickaway County is at a level 2 snow emergency, the roads are still very slick.
As the temperatures drop into the evening hours, you'll start getting the ice on the roads, and you may not see it, and you come up, and next thing you know, you're in the ditch.
Well, you heard that person just scream. I think they're going inside, which the sheriff says is the best place to be right now, which hopefully me and my photographer are hopefully headed inside here soon. But for now, reporting live in downtown Circleville, I'm 10 TV's Richard Solomon. Back to you two.
Stay warm, Richard. Thanks so much. Tens of thousands of AEP customers are still without power, and temperatures are expected to get bitterly cold tonight.
10 TV's Lacey Chris followed crews in Logan, one of the hardest hit areas for power outages.
Many trees are down in the Logan area. Ice formed on the limbs, and a lot of those limbs fell on power lines, knocking power out to a lot of homes in this area. But AEP has crews out in the area trying to restore power as quickly as possible. Now, at the height of the storm, AEP tells me they had more than 50,000 customers without power, but crews are working as quickly as possible to fix lines and restore power.
Because that means some work's being done, and they're unfortunately got to be out here doing this, but that means we may have some electric in a few hours or more.
We've had crews out for the last 24 hours making repairs as the weather rolled through, and now we've seen it kind of move through our area, so we're assessing, getting ETRs, moving crews to the affected areas to make sure we're able to restore power as quickly and safely as we can.
AEP is hoping to have power restored to everyone by tomorrow night. In Logan, Lacey Crisp, 10 TV News.
All right, it's time for a how-to lesson.
How to dig your car out of the snow correctly. 10 TV's Brian Somerville teaches us a lesson right after the break.
Plus, could we be at the end? The Ohio Department of Health says the pandemic could soon be over as we head into the endemic.
And here's a look at the forecast tonight. Frigid, sub-zero wind chills, feeling like 5 degrees, and we will see a few flurries. Ross Caruso has some details coming up after the break.
10 TV's Digital Broadcast Center is sponsored by Lindsay Honda.